Virginia Tech. Christian, let's talk about them. Season preview here. I'll talk a little bit about last year, and then I'll get into their offense here. Last year, 7-6. Actually, that wasn't a bad season for VT. Not a lot of people expected that. They were 5-3 in conference, Christian. They did beat Tulane in the Military Bowl. Big win, too. And I think VT won 5 out of the last 7 games last year. They got pretty hot there at the end of the year. Offensively, though, they put up 29.5 points per game. That was 57th in the country, so not too terribly bad there. But can they pick up where they left off last season? Like I said, they won 5 out of their last 7 games. VT, though, returns, and this is kind of crazy stat, the highest percentage of starters in college football this season. I think that's crazy. We talk about a lot on this channel, experience, bringing back players. Probably the most important player they bring back is the Drones kid at quarterback. He is, I've seen on several potential Heisman lists. He's been on that list this year. I watched him play a couple times. Big dude. He can run. He can throw. Looks like he's got really good command of the offense as well, too. So, and speaking of their offense, they returned their whole offensive line. Now, I think that is one of the best things you can have coming into a season is getting everybody back offensively. So, they do also get wide receiver Daquan Felton and both running backs as well. That's huge. I think they take a big step forward offensively again this year. I do, just with the ACC and kind of how it's set up. It's always been a couple really good teams, a la Florida State, Clemson. I see VT being up there this year. Christian, I'm going to kick it over to you for that defense, though. Enlighten me, my man.
Yeah, Chris. Like you said, Virginia Tech has a lot to be excited about this year. Look, they had a top 20 defense last year. They get back their defensive coordinator in Chris Marv and head coach Brent Pry, as we know. He's very underrated when it comes to his defenses, right? He's a defensive guy himself at heart. And a lot of his teams, that's where their nucleus is built around, okay? The Hokies are getting back their leading tackler from last year and linebacker Kelly Lawson. That's a huge get for him. They're also getting back 9.5 sacks from defensive end Antoine Powell-Ryland as well to go alongside of Cole Nelson, who's bringing his 4.5 sacks back. So that is huge. They bring in Duke transfer Aeneas Peebles, who had 5 sacks last year. So look, the point is the front 7 is going to be very solid this year. The secondary, Chris, and you touched on it, they get back just about all of their secondary from last year. Okay, they're going to be led by cornerback Dorian Strong, who had 8 pass deflections and 3 interceptions from last year. Chris, you touched on it a little bit. The defense is going to be great this year. They're going to need the offense to take some steps forward in order for this team to really maximize their potential. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into their record prediction here. There we go. Got the right record prediction there for Virginia Tech. Chris, I'll start us off here. Look, I got them going 9-3 with losses to Miami, Clemson, and a surprise loss somewhere else out there, right? I just feel their 9-10 wins, is very attainable for them. I went back and forth between 9 and 10 wins. I'm going to stand in the ground at 9-3. They have to play at Miami, so I think that might be a little bit of a challenge. Again, we'll see what Miami kind of comes forward this year. But the rest of the schedule, very winnable for them.
Yeah, I don't know if you take my notes or somehow you hack into my computer, but I have wrote down 9-3, potential losses to Miami, Clemson, and somewhere else along the line, whether that's Syracuse or somewhere in there. I'm with you, Christian. I think VT is going to have a good season this year. Like I said, we're big on the experience. They got that coming back. This schedule is very favorable, too. They avoid, Florida State, NC State, and I think Louisville, too, on this schedule. So, they kind of avoid some of the bigger and better schools in the ACC. There's no reason in my mind that Virginia Tech doesn't at least win 8 games this year. I could see something like 10 wins, too, as well, maybe competing for an ACC title. It's been a while since VT's done that. But, yeah, I agree, Christian, 9-3.